Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. I'm currently single and I'm considering getting back out there. Now, before I do, I feel that there are some things that I need to tighten down about myself, and those are standards. And I feel like at any age, we all, men or women, need to know what our standards are, and we need to know how to recognize them and enforce them and not give in to them because this person might have potential or you like something else so much about them. If they are hard nose red flags to you, you really should be able to cut them off. So I'm going to go over these. Currently there's 39 of them. If I think of more, I'll list those as well. But I do have them written down here, and I do have notes, which is why I have my laptop out. So here we go. The first one is emotional availability and clarity. What that means to me is that if you already know where you want something to go, you already know you want a serious relationship that potentially leads to marriage. You don't want someone who's like has a let's just see where it goes attitude. If they have that and they aren't changing their mind about that, or if they're very adamant about that, that again is something that you might want to just cut off right there. Shared lifestyle energy. If you're an extrovert and you meet a really great introvert, yet you like to go out 6 nights a week and he likes to stay in 6 nights a week, as nice as he or she is, might not be a good match. If those are very important to you and you don't want the future friction that could cause, that might be a red flag that you need to watch and add to your list. Mutual respect and treatment of others. To me, that means if you go out to a restaurant and let's just say it's your first date and the person is rude to the wait staff, that's a big red flag. To me, that's a big red flag. You want someone who is nice to everybody, not just you who they're trying to impress, and I also feel that if you are like a social butterfly and yet you have someone who is not, as long as they don't like dim your shine, as long as they're cool to, stand back and let you do your thing, I think that's okay. I think that's a green flag if they can do that. But if they can't, like if they cringe because you're being yourself, that's a red flag. Communication style. This one I want to talk about, especially for people my age, which is 54. I would say anywhere from like 40 and over. Did your parents have some type of strict little nuances or rules that you had to follow? For example, when I was growing up, I remember being like 11 or 12 and being like, Mama, when can I date? And she was like 16. And I was like, okay, when can I double date? And she was like 15. So when I became 15, I was like, okay, where are the people to ask me out? I was expecting that just happened because it's what I wanted, and it never did. And of course, now as I'm older, I realize why that could not happen or did not happen or whatever. But my point of saying that is that we do have some rules that were placed on us. For example, my mom also taught you don't call boys first, boys call you first. And, that now is totally kibosh. Like, we can text each other, we can call each other. You don't have to wait for someone else to message you first. I do, however, think messaging people, things get lost in messages, like you can't read tone and whatever. And I think if you have similar communication styles, that's important. If someone, let's say their job really takes them away and they cannot text you for 8 hours, or you can't accept text for 8 hours, someone who gives or crap for that's a red flag. But someone who understands that and you've explained it to them, they're cool with it, you text when you can, as long as you have mutual communication styles about your communication, I think that's a good thing. Maintenance of independence. This one to me means that you both have your lives outside of each other and they are successful lives. This person complements your life. They are not dependent on you. I think it's important that people have their own hobbies, their own friends and relationships with their families outside of you, things that they do even with or without you, and it's not a big deal to the relationship, but they can't be dependent on you for their entertainment, or, you can't be their only friend. Okay, the ease factor. I think that really implies that if it's already difficult to iron down when you can see this person, when you can actually go to dinner with this person, when you can go somewhere with this person, if it's not already easy at this stage where everyone is supposed to be kind of on their best behavior, not duplicitous where you don't show who you really are, but you want to put your best face forward. If that is already at the beginning phases an issue, then that really could be a red flag. Aesthetic and personal pride. This one could seem shallow, but my point of that is to say, let's say that you are someone who likes to dress up, even if it's casual. For example, I do like to wear dresses, so this is one that I would wear to dinner, I would wear out with friends, I would go shopping, whatever. But if someone else only ever wears baseball cleats, you can't even go into restaurants with baseball cleats. Do you see what I'm saying though? If you're going out with someone who doesn't match your aesthetic, that could be a problem if they don't ever try to, I know that sounds shallow. I'm basically trying to say, if you like to be a glamour doll and they like to be on the couch in, sweatpants, that's probably not a good match. Do you know what I'm saying? So that style and personal pride could be an actual red flag, but not a malicious red flag. Do you see what I mean? Just not a match, and you should honor that. Financial and life autonomy. That to me says that each person individually supports their own house, their own lifestyle. They don't need someone to come in and fix anything financially, and you're to complement their life, not to fix their life. Do you know what I'm saying? So that is a red flag if you see signs that, someone's already hinting that they might need a little handout from you. Big red flag. Big red flag. Curiosity and growth mindset. So to me, that one says that, if you are a, yes, let's get up and go, let's go do stuff, and they're a, I want to just hang out at the house, I don't really like going out ever, that could be a red flag. If it's a one-off because they've had a big project at work or something going on in their life, and they just say, dear, this time I'm just staying in, you go out with your friends, no hard feelings, it could be an exception. But if you find that's common, it goes back to that whole, you don't want to be matched up with someone if you're an extrovert and they're an introvert and you like to go out and they only like to stay in. That could be a negative there. So, okay, this one is major. This one is boundary respect, and I think this is a universal red flag. If you say to someone, I'm sorry, I can't do that on Thursday because of XYZ, or you just say, I cannot do that, they should respect that boundary. They should not try to make you feel guilty about it. They should not pout about it. Like, these are total red flags and honestly narcissistic tendencies if that happens. So beware of that. Make sure to explain it's a mutual respect. You would not do that to them, and you expect them not to do that to you. Again, if they keep pushing the envelope, it could be a red flag, and you got to cut them off. Intellectual and social match. So that one to me means that if you are out and about and you and your partner are standing beside each other and people come to you or you go to them and they can't hold the conversation with you, that could be a red flag if they give you grief about it, like try to pull you away from that conversation, or say, I'm not comfortable staying here talking because I can't join you. That's uncomfortable all the way around. So that just basically means that if you require intellectual conversation and yet they aren't a match to your level, that doesn't mean you can't have great conversations, but long term that could be a problem because it's not feeding your soul. Do you know what I'm saying? So if that is very important to you, that you have someone who intellectually matches you, socially matches you, it could be a red flag if they're not. And again, this is not a personal attack on any person. It's just we do not match and we have to part, So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, the adventure reciprocity rule. And that one to me means, let's say that you have great concert tickets and you won them or you bought them because you love the band, or even that person loves the band, and they don't come back with an equal reciprocity type event. Like, well, since you got the tickets, I'm going to get the meal, or, since you got the tickets, I'm going to get the parking, or, those types of things. And it doesn't have to be a one-to-one always, but if you find that you're always being the one depended on for the financial or even the planning of those types of things, that could be a red flag, and you might want to be aware of that. High level emotional intelligence. That one is so important. That to me is really done very well by empath type people. They read the room, they read nuances and expression, body language, all of those things. I'm not saying everyone has to be that way, but your person, if they really are into you, they should be able to read when your social gas tank has gone to empty. A prime example of that is the love of my life. When we were just friends, we were in a social situation and he was looking at me and he said, "What happened right there?" And I said, What do you mean?" And he said, "Your eyes, you just did something." And I said, "That was my social, gas tank just going to empty. Like, I'm ready to go home." And I did. I left. And he was, of course, lovely about it. He's a lovely man. Okay, this one I call the pack and go readiness. So if you're someone who can literally throw some stuff in a bag and go, and yet your person that you're trying to determine if they're a good match for you needs a 3-week plan in advance, that could be a red flag. Like, long term, that could be an issue in a relationship. So you want to analyze, is that a red flag for you? Is that I'm sorry, you have to be able to just throw some stuff in a bag and go as well, or their 3-week plan could be crimping your style. Like, it's just something to keep aware of and be aware of. Resilience in the oops moment. Let's say that you plan to go to a Braves game and it gets rained out 5 minutes before you get there. If someone's a stick in the mud about that and it's just rained the whole night and they just have to go back home because of the drama of it all, like, that could be a red flag. Like, that would be a huge red flag to me. I'm going to put a little star there. That would drive me nuts. A shared curiosity gap. If you're someone who can strike up a conversation with anyone, get tips from anyone, and yet your partner is not, and they don't even like it when you do that, and they try to dim your shine, that is a red flag. That would be a non-negotiable for me. Like, I'm not saying the person has to be equally chatty, verbose, extroverted as I am, but I definitely wouldn't want them to get upset because I speak to people, or, think ill of me because I do speak to people or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Those types of things could be a red flag. The vibe alignment. That one to me means if you go on a date and at the end of it, you don't want to hug, you don't want to kiss, like, it's maybe not even the ick, but you're just like, no, it's just a no for me. Follow your instincts with that. Don't say, well, maybe it was just a one-off. Maybe they were off or I was off. Let's try it again. You can talk yourself into a lot of stuff, and then it could be 20 years later before you're like, oh, shoot, I should have listened to that. You know what I mean? So if their vibe and your vibe just isn't gelling, don't force it. There are so many more people, and it's better to be alone than to be with those kind of people. So listen to your instincts. Comfortable silence versus awkward pressure. If you're in a car with someone and you're silent and he's silent or she's silent and it doesn't feel awkward, it just feels peaceful, that's a huge green flag. But if you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm cringing inside because I don't know what to say to this person. Like, this is awful. I want to go home. You know what I mean? That's a red flag. Like, listen to it. The stranger test. Let me tell you, I can speak to anyone. Like, I literally waved to a dog the other day. Don't laugh at me. That was funny. I was actually driving down the road and we got to a stop sign and I look over and the driver was on his phone and this poor little dog was in the back of the Jeep and he just looked over at me and he looked so sad. And I literally waved and you should have seen his face light up. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a person or an animal or whatever, you know, some people like interaction. So it was really cute and charming and I thought it was precious. But my whole point of saying that is I can speak to anyone. Wave to a dog, I've waved to a horse. Like, I know. Anyway, my point is if you easily do that and yet the person you're with cringes when you do that, or you cringe when someone does that, that's vice versa, red flags. If it's not like, oh my gosh, they're so cute, you know, or you just know if that happens, like you really need to analyze, is that a green flag or is it a red flag? You know, if it's a red flag, let them go. Authenticity over performance. I'm sure we've all been there before where this person seems too good to be true, but your spidey senses are going insane. You know, it could be that they have their performance face on, and that could be an instant red flag, or it could be you might want to give them one more chance to see, was that a performance? Were they nervous? Like, but if your intuition tells you they were totally faking it and you don't know who the heck showed up for your date, could be a red flag and you might have to let them go. The energy exchange audit. At the end of a date, if you feel totally drained and just like, I need to go home and rest, I need to sleep late tomorrow. like if they don't energize you when you're out with them and they're a drain on your mental and, you know, physical resource, not physical. If they're a drain on your mental resources, like that could be a red flag, you know. And it's, again, this is not that you're trying to be so picky against everyone. It's just, we've lived our life. We know we don't want to go through this again where you've chosen poorly, you know. So if you know it's a red flag, believe it's a red flag and just mark them off. Go on to the next person or enjoy time with yourself. The front row energy test. This one to me means like, let's say you go to a Braves game and you got front row seats. Like if they're not equally as excited as you and they're just sitting there like a stick in the mud, they can't wait to leave, they're checking their watch, they're checking their phone, they don't get off their phone because, you know, if they're not matching your energy to something that is significant like that, you know, something exciting, and that's just an example, but, you know, if that happens, you might label that a red flag and, you know, check them off the list. Okay, the no second guessing policy. You know when it's a no. You know, do not try to talk yourself into this person. They could be perfect on paper. They could do the same job you do, and that makes them perfect on paper. That could make it boring that could make it boring. Do you know what I mean? If you have the feeling that they are a no, listen to that feeling. It's a no and that's it. Don't, you know, go back for just in case. No is no. The social wingman synchronicity. If, again, like me, I'm an extrovert. If I'm with someone and they don't match my level of extrovertness, that's okay. As long as they aren't disrespectful that I do it, as long as they're not offended that I do it, as long as they're not embarrassed that I do it, you know, if they are proud to be with me even if I am that way, then that's cool. But if they cringe, you know, if they aren't okay with it, it's a red flag and I would listen to that. I'm actually going to put a little star by that one. The confident anchor. This is someone who recognizes the type of personality that you have and they are not intimidated by it. They appreciate it. They can let you shine if you like to shine. They're not going to try to dim your glow. Do you know what I'm saying? If you have someone who, again, cringes at the thought of you speaking to another person, let's go, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like if they're not matching that type of style and energy, it's a red flag. You got to cut them loose. The quick-witted improviser. I don't know about you guys, but I may not be physically attracted to someone completely. I might think they're cute or attractive, but not like, you know, Chris Hemsworth. Like he's like the man. Chris Evans, Chris Payne, like all the Chris's. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't have to be the Chris's, okay? But if they have the personality, the wit, the charm, if they just can make a date feel like not a date, but just hanging out with your best friend, that goes a long way in my book. So, that could be something you look out for. If they're draining you, they're not fun, they just keep asking a million questions, what do you do for work? Can you elaborate on that? Like, that's interview questions. First of all, with me, my work in no way or shape represents how my personality is. Do you know what I'm saying? I could be a teacher, a rocket scientist, a veterinarian. Like, it doesn't matter what I do. That doesn't define who I am or how I am as a person. So, you don't want that business interview on a date, The ambition match. To me, that says that if you are working towards a goal and this person cheers you on, that's a green flag. But if this person laughs at your goal, this is your goal, is always negative about your goal, those are red flags. Like, let them go immediately. Like, you do not want that kind of crap in your life. I'm going to put a star by that one. Like, no. The immediate ease. And this one is that if you feel so comfortable in their presence, they don't drain you, they lift you up, they inspire you, they, are confident in themselves and don't try to take your confidence because they are not confident. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a difference in that. If they make you feel good about your goals and who you are, green flag. If they are forever cutting you down, red flag. Run, no. So listen to that immediate ease. It's either there or it's not. I feel like we've kind of gone over this before, but I'm going to do it again. The secure presence standard. If you are, again, the extrovert and you're with someone who is like trying to suppress you, gets offended because there you are speaking again, or if you're the introvert and you get disgusted because they won't shut up talking to people, those are mutual red flags. Like, listen to what feels right for you. If you don't like that about someone, it's a red flag. Again, it doesn't make that person a bad person. It just means they're not for you. So those kind of things are important, They need to be secure in themselves and happy for you the way you are. High observational intelligence. Again, I think that comes back to being able to read the room, read the expressions. If everyone's somber, your person doesn't need to be jovial and boisterous. You know what I'm saying? If you find that that's a common pattern, those could be signs of narcissism. That could be signs that they're just oblivious. Like, you have to analyze and determine which one it is. And if you determine negatively, you got to cut them loose. Again, it's not personal. It's just, are they a match or aren't they a match? The calm and the chaos factor. If things go south, which don't they always go south, and you're with someone who just jumps on that negative bandwagon and they drain you of everything you've got, and you just cannot wait for the day to be over or for them to just be out of your presence so that you can calm down, honey, it's a red flag. Cut them loose quickly. Yeah, they should bring calmness, not chaos. Quality over quantity in conversation. That to me says that if all they do is chatter just to be heard, don't we know somebody like that? I can think of 3 or 4 people right now. They're just talking to be heard. They can't stand the silence. That would drive me nuts. Even though I'm an extrovert, I appreciate a silent, moment. I don't need constant conversation just so that there is noise in the room. Do you know what I mean? And if that is something that is important to you as well, it could be a red flag if they are the opposite of that. So, something to think about. The non-competitive vibe, that one to me means that if someone isn't your cheerleader, but they're not intimidated by the fact that you are a certain way, they can just stand to the side and let you be you and appreciate you, as long as they're not jealous because you talk to people easier, as long as they're not jealous that, everything comes easier for you. You see what I'm saying? A good relationship is not a competition. So if you find that the person gets jealous, gets upset, all of these things because you are exceptional at something, that's a big red flag. Do you know what I mean? Like, they should be able to cheer you on, not bring you down. Those are big narcissistic flags right there. So just pay attention to that. The social stealth standard. That to me means, let's say that your person is stoic by nature, yet you go out to an event and they are being quiet, yet something comes up and they can easily slide into the conversation and they're not standing there looking awkward. That's something to keep in mind. But if they are stoic and they never join in the fun, and here you are having fun and they're being a stick in the mud and pout, like, those are red flags. You need to listen to those and cut them off immediately. Don't you think, kitty boy? Can I get right here? Shared off-the-cuff instincts or mental agility. If you are someone who could easily jump from conversation to conversation and you know a lot of things and you're not being obnoxious about it, you just are chatting about it, and they can't match you or they try to bring you down. They, always find something negative to say. They can't be proud for you. Those types of things. If they don't have that mutual off-the-cuff wit and charm about them, that could be a red flag. Again, going back to, if they're stoic, that's one thing. But if they're intentionally being obtuse and intentionally, difficult, it's a red flag. Let them go. Okay, low maintenance, high energy. Those are the people who are just comfortable in their own skin, and they can go to any event and blend right in. They have their own high energy. They don't have to steal from you to have high energy. They don't have to drain you to have high energy. You know exactly the people I'm talking about, okay? So as long as they are low maintenance in a high energy aspect, you're good. But if they are high maintenance, high energy, run. Ooh, run. This one to me is the across the room connection. I don't know if you've had it before. I hope you have, where you look across the room and your person is over there, and you can tell by the look on their face or the look in their eyes, and they can do the same. And your mutual look is, let's get out of here, without having to do anything. Others might not even catch it. That is a positive. That's like what you want to look for. But if you look across and your person is a sourpuss and, they have you're going to get it as soon as we walk out of here, look on their face, run. Please run. Oh, gosh. Don't make up any excuses for them. Run. That is such a turn off. So anyway, these are ones that I've come up with. I would like to know how many of these resonated with you. Put those in the comments, and if you have others that are deal breakers, put those in there as well. I would love to hear those. Like, anyone needs standards in their life, but we definitely need them the older we get. We have assets we have to protect. We have families we have to protect. You have your peace and your health and your mental health that you have to protect. So take these to heart. Think about them for a while. Analyze the ones you need that you don't need. I would say you at least need 10 of these. You can have different levels of them. You can have some that are solid red, some that are lighter pink, you know what I mean? And some that are just total green light, wouldn't bother you at all. But I definitely think we need these things. We need to know these things to protect ourselves, So anyway, thank you so much for joining. I've had so much fun going over these with you. And like I said, leave a comment of how many you chose, if anyone was your favorite, if there's any I forgot. I would just love to hear from you. So take care, and I'll see you next time.